Hi everybody, I'm Morgan Crosbie from Finch Chevrolet in London, Ontario, Canada, and you're watching Cars and Crosbie. Well, it's been a day since our extravaganza, or my extravaganza of excitement, and I got more adventures to share already. Freddie was here. I shot some episodes, or part of it, and there were so many people around it, I didn't really feel comfortable in uploading it with them not having their permission. There was a couple people that just came in off the street. I tell you, when they see that Corvette truck coming off of Wonderland Road, people start flocking, and I don't feel comfortable in uploading it without people's permission. There's a lot of privacy laws here in Canada about filming people without their consent. So I hope you guys apologize. I'm going to give you a summary of what Freddie had to say. We're also going to talk a little bit more after I got some feedback from my last episode about the border opening up. And then literally about 45 minutes ago, a gentleman from our Cami plant here in Ingersoll, Ontario, he drove in with his beautiful C7 Corvette in Daytona Sunrise, and I bought it on the spot. I literally bought this 45 minutes ago. I just took the plates off. I drove him home in my C8. I was trying to plant the seed to see if he would maybe buy a C8 down the road. And it's now mine. I own it. I wanted to show it because it reminds me of a lot of other colors that were one-offs. And I want to give you some insight on what I mean by that. So we've got another all Corvette episode. We got a really fun, action-packed adventure of people bringing in Corvettes, me buying them on the spot, and new ones arriving in, and Freddie giving us info. So stay tuned. We've got a great Corvette episode coming your way. All right, so Freddie came in. Freddie and I go way back. My C7 Corvette on a rainy day in May. I believe my C7 was built a day after my birthday, and I got it on Victoria Day weekend, which is Memorial Day weekend for you guys in May. And at 7:30 p.m. in March, I received my C8 Corvette from Freddie. So we go way back. We've got a lot of things in common in terms of having special moments, and I mean that in my special moments. I'm sure he's not writing home about all the experiences with me, but we have a really good rapport with each other. And I was talking to him mainly about the border, and I had a couple people that were commenting on the last video in regards to more insight on this border thing, and they were absolutely right. If you guys are listening to the fine print on these articles, you'll notice that it's the Americans that are allowed to come over to the Canadian side, but we haven't been told that we can come over to the American side yet. And some people are calling me a daredevil for already planning to come down, but if you guys look into it a little bit, you'll find out that you can go by rail and you can fly. So even if I have to fly down to Carlisle this year, I will be doing it. I'm coming regardless, guys. But the other thing that I want to talk about is the fact that on the 21st day of every month is when the governments have been announcing if the borders are going to open up or if they're going to stay closed for an additional month. They've been moving in 1 month increments. So tomorrow, being the 21st of July, I'm hoping that this is going to be the day that the US government opens up the border, or at least announces that maybe this is the last time that they're going to extend the lockdown, and then they're going to open it up. So we still have some time. I'm cutting it close in terms of if I'm going to have to book flights, and I've already looked into it, and it's a doozy with layovers. I'm going to be in Newark. I think then I got to go to Chicago, and then I'm going to Huntington Capital City Airport or something like that. It's going to be a fun adventure in itself. That'll be a Cars and Layover episode. So we'll hopefully not have to do that. Maybe we'll just have to drive if we can. We'll knock on wood about that. But that's enough about that. Enough speculation for today. Now, Freddie came in. I asked him about the border. He said that it was very open. There wasn't a lot of issues there. That makes sense because it's still closed up. And then he said at the plant there was not a lot of Corvettes that were there, but he did mention that there was actually a software reflash that they had to do to all the vets that was on his truck. So we had to actually take them all off. They did an update on the vehicle. It honked about 3 times, he said, and then they were on their way. So that was an interesting upgrade. It shows you that, you know, sometimes it's better to get it done at the plant, I guess, in terms of upgrades and stuff, instead of having it done at our dealership, because the delivery experience is important. To think that you get your vehicle and then all of a sudden there's a software update or something like that, that wouldn't be a fun thing to do. So, you know, it just shows you that to the last second, they're trying to make sure that, you know, all the cars are shined up and polished to the fullest extent. There's a lot of quality control that goes on these vehicles, and it averages usually about 3 days that they have individuals that are putting, you know, quality control stickers on the vehicle and making sure that everything is perfect, because first impressions are everything in my job. And if you have a vehicle that needs to get even just a minor software update, I know that we can do a lot of them over the air, but some of them we have to actually, you know, stick a computer into the vehicle and make sure that it's done properly. That kind of stuff, even though it's very minor, it does leave an impression, and we don't want to do that. So it was very interesting to see how capable the Bowling Green team was at getting something done efficiently, even to the last second. So Unfortunately, we didn't get to say hi to Freddie. I said hi to him for you guys, and we'll see him on his next adventure when he comes to the dealership. So without further ado, let's go right into it, and we'll start talking about this. This is a very nicely balanced Corvette with a nice amount of red accents. We've got ourselves a Z51 Coupe. It's a 2LT. We've got some base rims on here. So if you guys know what I'm doing with a lot of people, you'll know that this is probably not just what we're going to do and we're going to leave it. You know, even the hubcaps or the center caps are not even on it right now. We are looking at a set of Vostens for this vehicle. We're just making the decision if we're going to stick with the set that's original on it, so the 19s and 20s, and using those rubber bands that are on it right now, or if we're going to go to a set of 2021s and then he's going to keep these and drive them until his new ones come in. Unfortunately, we're making a last minute decision, and that's something that I would always suggest that we avoid. We want to make sure that we can preemptively order these things in advance, and you usually need about 4 to 6 weeks at a minimum in order to get the Vossen rims that are coming from Miami to the dealership in time for your Corvette. So if you're ordering a set of rims from me and you make the assumption that you can just get it at the time, and maybe you didn't ask me or tell me that you were interested in rims, avoid doing that. Make sure that you tell me in advance that you're looking for Vostens, and that way I can order them so that they're here at the time of delivery, and you can get those new car photos with the right set of shoes on it for its delivery. Speaking of new shoes, I just got the chrome rims put on this Radiant Edition Escalade Platinum that we're going to be doing an episode on. So you're getting a sneak peek of an episode that we're about to air. We're just waiting for the upgraded Galvano grille that's going to go on this premium luxury Platinum. So on the inside of this, we've got the Adrenaline Red GT2 seats. So we got GT2 LT2 interior. And with that, you got a lot of nice red stitching. I always look at this kind of angle in particular and think you get quite a bit of car and style for something that, in my opinion, is rather cost effective when you look at what you get as a whole picture. So we've got just a real good array of fine touch materials. We've gone with the brushed aluminum look on this one, and then you've got the black bezels on the dash display as well. So this is your Adrenaline Red GT2 seats. We've actually got a custom nameplate on here, so we did the personalized plaque as a nice little gift from me to thank him for his business. And in the back here, we've got the mats, which if you guys notice on these with the Adrenaline Red interior, you get the red stitching. I've already taken them out of the bag and made them nice and flat. We've got the under tray for the front end, and then we've got all the vents because this is a Z51. Now this has got an engine appearance package on it, and this engine cover here is going to be taken off. This is going to be switched out with the Edge Red one. Reason why we like to do that is because then it shows off that beautiful valve cover. It makes it match a little bit more with the valve covers when you have that Edge Red engine cover on it. And you'll see here you got your Tonawanda badging. That's there from back in the day. I think it's the exact copy as what you saw on the old big blocks from back in the day from Tonawanda. I really like that they went with that retro badge. It really, to me, is a very cool eclectic look, and I dig it. I really do. So rims, we're working on that with this one. We've got black on the outside. We're going to be doing a ceramic coat to it, just to make sure that if there is anything that gets dirty on it, it's very easy to clean off, especially when it's a black vehicle. Keep in mind, guys, this isn't going to magically protect your vehicle. It's not a way for you to be able to sleep better at night. It's just a way for you to be able to keep the vehicle cleaner and not have to put as much work into it. So start using that kind of mindset. And not trying to say that a lot of detail shops will do this, but a lot of places will try to give you a false sense of security by making you put a lot of protection products in your vehicle. And coming from experience with my vehicle having about 17,000 kilometers on it, you can't stop anything from happening. I've got every single piece of protective product known to man on my vehicle, and life comes at you at a hurling little pebble, and you just got to handle it. So there's my little badge of honor right there. That's gone right through about 8.8 of a millimeter of the PPF on the front and the paint. So it happens, it's life. But the ceramic coating can help keep the vehicle looking cleaner for longer, and that's something that I will put my name on. So a very decent build in terms of price point on this vehicle. The list price on this model was $95, and then with the rims and accessories that we're going to do onto it, it'll be just under 100 grand pre-tax Canadian. And then for the VIN number on this one, guys, we're at 18 and a quarter for VINs. So this VIN is it means that this one's been there for maybe about a week. So we're already into the high 18,000s right now in terms of VINs down at Bowling Green that are being produced. And it's good to see we're just pumping along. We're at full steam capacity right now, and I'm not seeing any insight that there's any issues that we need to be aware of. Now, I kid you not, now about an hour ago, I just had an individual. He wasn't a client of mine or anything like that. He just came in and says, I've heard that you're the Corvette guy, and I want to show you my Corvette. I'm thinking about selling it. And right away, as soon as I opened the door and I saw the color, I said, oh boy, you've got a one-off color. And he goes, yes, I do. This is Daytona Sunrise, and I want to talk about this color for a couple of reasons. Every once in a while, GM will come out with a color, and for some reason, sometimes they don't sell as well as other colors will. And that goes without saying. You know, a recent example is going to be Zeus Bronze. And over here on this XT4, we have a color that I'm going to have to check out with the paint codes, but this is, I'm pretty sure, Black Rose Metallic, which was also a color that lasted for, I think, only 2 model years. You know, there was Night Rays Blue Metallic. That was one of the first colors that came out on the C7, and that was another color that wasn't around for very long. Well, Daytona Sunrise has definitely got a cult following. I've seen over the years a lot of people that have really tried to look for one of these and hunt one down. And at first impressions, as soon as I saw it, I knew right away that this was going to be a good car. But the more I started to look at it in the condition of it, it's only got 15,000 kilometers on it. So about 10 to 12,000 miles that are on this vehicle. And it's a 1LT. It's an automatic 1LT. This is, again, always how I shoot my videos. You can see that there's a little bit of dirt left in it. But being a detective, this is how I evaluate a vehicle, and it's fresh in my memory because I just did it. So I'm going to show you guys what I do when I'm evaluating a Corvette. First thing I'm going to look at is the bolsters. I wanted to see if he's digging his elbow in here, if he's starting to stress out the leather on here, and if there's a lot of cracks and stuff that are in here. The second place I'm looking is right here where people dig their elbows in, and there's a lot of ripples or even sometimes a tear in that little center console there. Third place I'm looking is right here, and this is one of the finest examples for a 6-year-old Corvette. Check this out. This is immaculate. Fourth place I'm looking, right here. Are they kicking when they're getting out? None of that. Immaculate condition. Then I'm looking over here in the back. I'm looking to see if when they were putting the top on and off, if they were not very accurate when they were trying to get it into the mounting clips. You'll see that there's a lot of scratches and stuff in this area, and that's from when they're putting the top on. Luckily, you can actually change this component out, so it's not like this is a thing that you're going to be, you know, left to have on there for the rest of the owner's experience and then to the next owner. So that's another thing that I'm looking for. Then I'm feeling the seals. I'm feeling the quality of the silicone in the seals and seeing if, you know, there's a lot of oxidization that's happened in it. I'm going to take off the top. This one is a transparent top. I can't do that while I'm holding the phone, but I would also look at the seals in there, because a lot of the times when they're putting these clips on, sometimes they do it properly and you can actually pinch the silicone and then create a leak in this area right here. So if they haven't been putting the top on properly, that's another area. Now, these are all things that I'm just keeping in my head. I'm being kind of like a detective. I'm looking to try to figure out the demeanor. I'm kind of like Sherlock Holmes in a way, I guess, and trying to figure out the demeanor of this individual. And you can tell right away. These are some dead giveaways on how they've been treating the vehicle. And then I'm looking underneath here at specifically the Corvettes on the top, the script on the top here. This stuff did not hold up well over time. If you guys have seen on your LT1s, this peeling off, this is usually a dead giveaway sign that people have been power washing their engine bay. It's not always the case, but it's usually the case that they've been doing some stuff. And then another sign is that this area in here is covered in a lot of soap residue from them over sudsing up their car. So those are just a couple of things off the top of my head that I look at when I'm evaluating a Corvette. I'm just going to put this top down and I'm going to show you how you do that. You just hold it in the center here. You drop, that was terrible. Sorry guys. You drop it down like that. Bloopers. Those are some things that I look at when I'm evaluating a vehicle. This thing checks off all the boxes. I always give it a score when I'm evaluating the vehicle out of 100. With it being 6 years old, it's very difficult to give anything 100. But I would say that this is in the high 90s. I'm going to say it's a 95 on here. I really haven't seen anything that was wrong with it, but the fact that it's a couple years old and it's been driven, I guess the tires, for example, are in use. That's the only thing. Now, it's a 15, so that's a couple of things that you want to also note. This is a round bottom, but it does have the better transmission. it has 19s in the back and 18s in the front. So that's another thing that you want to make sure that you're aware of, because in the later years, I think it was 17 that it was the first year, the 1LT started to come with the standard 1920 setup with the split spokes. So these don't actually even have what most people would consider the standard setup for a C7 in terms of rims on it. But that's fine. I just want to make sure that people are aware of that, because a lot of times they think that the C7 was the same all the way throughout. Now, I call these a round bottom because of the steering wheel. The steering wheel on a C7 before 2016, I believe, they had a round bottom, and the newer steering wheels on them had the flat bottom. So that is why I call these a round bottom. And then the other thing that you got to watch out for is the radios. They had a lot of issues with them. Almost every single one was replaced. So you want to look into the service history and see if the radios were replaced on as well. So that's just a cool, you know, pre-game warm-up for anyone that's looking at a Corvette. I do have Corvettes always for sale. I've still got Cyber Gray, so another one-off color. I've got 2 one-off color C7 Corvettes on my lot for sale, and this one having only 15,000 kilometers, 15,061 kilometers on it. This is going to be a pretty awesome ride for someone. So I don't see this lasting very long. I'm excited to be able to shoot it, and it just happened to arrive while I was just shooting the interior and walk around on this C8 that Freddie dropped off. So hope you guys enjoyed that stuff. Cross your fingers for me tomorrow when they announce, hopefully, knock on wood, that the border will open up on the 21st, or that there will be some positive announcement for that. If you're interested in this Corvette, it is for sale. And if you guys have any questions or concerns or anything that you want to reach out to me on, I did have Darcy Bolin reach out to me, and 2 of the spots have been filled. So we have 5 left on my slot. That's for the 3rd and 4th of September at Spring Mountain. Let's try to see how fast we can get that filled up. I've already had somebody reach out to me and say, hey, let's be plane buddies and fly down to Vegas together. I'm all for that. Let's try to find a group discount to Vegas. But yeah, everything else I couldn't be happier about, and I just really want to make sure that everyone knows that if you're a Canuck and you want some questions and information on Corvettes, I'm your guy to help you out. Stay tuned and happy motoring.